GamerNode.com. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. This is a two-player run-through of a game in which you'll get to see a little bit more of the gameplay and perhaps a little bit less of my face. And we'll be looking at the Palace of Mad King Ludwig from Ted Alspach and Bezier games, and this is sort of a spiritual successor to Castles of Mad King Ludwig and Suburbia before it. And it's a little bit different. It's still a tile-laying game, but in this game all players are sort of working together but against each other to build out a single palace using these square room tiles that come out on this conveyor belt, and building out, collecting points based on which rooms they put out and what benefits those come with, using these favor tiles to try to be the best or worst at certain things, and slotting in on this blueprint board to get special powers to use throughout the game, and also track how many of each type of room they've built for, again, more points. Okay, so without too much preamble, let's get started. Today we're playing with the crowns and the keys in honor of Kingdom Hearts 3 finally coming out after a 14-year wait. But as far as this game goes, you start out with the players drawing 3 of these favor tiles in secret and taking a look at them and choosing which ones they want to slot in somewhere on their board. So looking at this crown player, which is this board right here, we have get the fewest of these types of rooms, these food rooms, get the most of this type of room, or get the most hallways. So we also begin with these 4 favor tiles face up here that everyone is competing for throughout the game. So we see that these don't really interfere with any of those. Those have the most green swans, which you'll earn through placing tiles. The most purple swans, you'll get the same way, or have the most utility rooms or the most sleeping rooms. So perhaps if I'm trying to get the most sleeping rooms and most utility rooms, I won't be able to get the most of 2 other types of rooms. So maybe this get the least of a type of room could be beneficial. But this type of room also, as a bonus, gets you more favor tiles that you can use to score. So I think I'm actually going to go with get the most of this type of room. And then I'm just going to put these favor tiles. You're supposed to put them underneath the stack, but that's too much work for this setup that I have here with the camera. So I'm going to take this one, and then what you do is you're going to flip it over to the heart side, and you're going to slot it in to your blueprint board in this fashion, which will permanently eliminate your ability to get the special bonus that's listed here, because you only get that by slotting in these rooms this way. Okay, so essentially we're choosing what ability we're never going to get. And I'm going to choose this one all the way down here out of view, which is just get 3 free swans at the end of the game. Here you have game end bonuses, which is get 10 points, score tied favors. Maybe I'll do that one. No, I want that one. I want to get that one. Or use get 3 free swans, because also at the end of the game we're scoring for sets of swans, sets of different types of swans, so that can help you improve your sets. Then over here we have the in-game abilities, which are swan discounts for when you're purchasing rooms over here. You'll see these 2 are free. These 2 cost a swan each, and these 2 cost 2 swans each. So I probably want to get my swan discounts. And then this one is move 2 moats, which are tiles that come out later on in the game. You can move them to a different place on the board here. So I'm just going to do that one. And this other player here is definitely not going to do have the least sleeping rooms, because that contradicts a goal that's out there already. It is worth more points, so you would benefit, you would net 5 points. But still, I don't like going for goals that have opposites out there. Then you have the most secret swans, which you get from completing basement rooms. So it's essentially have the most basement rooms, or have the most in-game abilities. And I think they're going to try for that one because that kind of matches up with having the most sleeping rooms, because when you complete a sleeping room, you actually get to slot in one of these rooms into your board in the diagonal fashion, which is not this tile but a room tile. And what they're going to do is place that in the move moats section. And I don't know that you can see that, but that's okay. That's basically, they're doing this one on their board. Okay, so that is all the setup we need. And now the first player can do one of a few things. You can take a room tile and pay the associated swan cost and stick it out here somewhere in the world. Or you can take a room tile and pay 3 swans and slot it in over here to get a special ability. We don't start with any swans, so that's out of the question. Or you can take a hallway or stairs for free and put them out on the board and discard one of these in this conveyor belt to the discard pile there. Or you can pay 3 swans and take 3 favor tiles, choose one just like we just did, and slot it into your board. So I know I'm going for the food rooms as well as all of those rooms over there. So what I'm going to do as this red player is first take this grand bedroom here, and I'm going to place it right out here, and I'm going to align red swan to red swan and put my little marker on there, and then also look on my board here and start to track that I have sleeping rooms, which is going for that sleeping rooms bonus there. So I have 1 sleeping room. And when you do this, you match up these swan colors. You will also get a bonus of taking 1 swan of that color. If another player had this tile, they would also get the red swan. And if I had both, if this crown had both, the crown player would only get 1 swan, regardless of having 2 of those. There are also gray swans, which you'll see. Those are wilds. So, for example, this would be a match, but this would also be a match because grays are wild. Now we just move this all down, take the next tile from the first slot, and we move on to the yellow player's turn. So the yellow player is a little upset that this sleeping room was taken because they're kind of going for those. So maybe what they'll do instead is just grab this first room here so that they can pick up their first swan, their first yellow, and put that over in their area, put their little key, white side up there, and they are also tracking the sort of entertainment room, which would be this one on this board, but it's on theirs, on their board. So anyway, we're moving this down, and the red player will go ahead and sort of abandon their wish to match up everything, and they'll just take this one, drop it here. Okay, that gets them one of these fire rooms. I forget what they're called. I guess it's like living rooms. And they get the matching swan bonus. They only gain 1, even though they have both of those. And they don't get anything here. But what does happen is this room is now complete because all of the rooms, all of the doors going into the room are connected. So this flips over, and this bonus is received. And that is take one of these available tiles, pull it off the board here, flip it over, and place it into their board. And what they're going to do here is put that one like that, and now receive a 1 swan bonus on all future room acquisitions. So that was pretty good. And they flipped that over and also acquired a power here. So now we slide all of this down. More of these come out. And that is essentially, that's how you gain those powers. So you are kind of playing cooperatively and competitively. Really, I think players are trying to connect to their own rooms so that they get the benefit by themselves and maybe mess up their opponent's rooms. But maybe not. Sometimes it helps to work together. So yellow's going to take a turn, and they are going to jump right in for this sleeping room because they want to compete for that. This is another free tile. They don't mind sort of helping out here, and that will get them a little key on there, and they will put one just like red has here on their board off screen. They're going to get a red swan, and they are going to afford the red player the opportunity to take a red swan. So that's one red for the red player and one red for the yellow player. And that's that. So they've placed there. We're also going to slide these down. Now, the red player, I think, is going to try to do something a little bit different here. We know that we're trying to get green swans and be in the lead on that. And I know this one has reds, which is pretty readily available to make matches to get red swans, but they have a lot of red swans. So maybe they'll jump in and they'll grab this green hallway for free, and then they will discard this red swan doorway room into the discard pile so their opponent can't get it. And for this hallway, they will, it's the same on either side, they will place it right over here in an attempt to get some green swans going. They'll place a crown there, and they will place a crown over here on the hallways marker, and then they will take one green swan for their troubles. Now they could have placed it over here with the red to collect a red swan, of which they already have many, and the bonus here, which is collect 3 red swans again. But I think they just really wanted the green one there. So we're going to move on here, sliding this down. So that's how you take a hallway or a stairs. Same way, you're discarding one. When you take a favor tile, that's the only time you're not discarding anything from this row here. Obviously, when you take one from there to place here, or if you take one from there to slot in like this, you're depleting this row. And whenever you take these, this discard slot is nearby to remind you to discard there. Alright, so yellow's turn. Yellow sees this basement room, and the basement room cannot be placed. So in order to do that, they would need to grab a stairs and connect that to any available door. So they might want to do that, but they also might just want to pick up this breakfast room because it only has 2 doors that need to be completed in order to take the bonus. So that's pretty easy, and it'll get them a new favor. So let's see. They're going to jump in right here and put it this way. They want to connect the yellow to a gray because that is still a match because grays are wild. So they get 1 yellow for that. And then they leave a gray open so that whatever's placed here will also get them that benefit. Now, what this does, having completed this room by connecting all of its doorways, it flips this. We also have to place one of these food rooms on their board, which is very easy to forget. So it's something you'll end up, when you play this game, you end up counting, okay, I have 1, 2, 3 crowns on my board, I have 1, 2, 3 rooms out here, okay, because you will inevitably forget to put something down here or move a room marker to the right when you get a second room or third room, and so on. Okay, so what they did was they completed that, and at the end of the game, they're going to score a 7-point bonus for having that room be completed. Now, it happens that I'll show you in a minute. You don't necessarily complete every room because you don't necessarily have to have all of the doors connected. So what a player might do to help themselves and hurt the other player is place in such a way that the, let's say, well, we'll get there. So the red player now is going to look at what's here, and they do have this one swan discount, so they'll jump right in here and grab this one, and they will basically want to, we're looking at those purples. Okay, so this is what we're looking at, what I was talking about. Imagine that this was a yellow room, okay? And I'm the red player. And I see that this room that I have only has one doorway. When you place a room, you only have to place it so that one doorway, at least one doorway, is connected to the rest of the castle. So blocking off this door here hurts this player because they can never complete this room. They'll never connect this doorway. Completing a room means connecting the 4 doorways. They'll never complete that room because they can never connect that doorway, and they will never flip this over and never take the 2 swan bonus that's listed there. And that works for any of these. If it was this one, they would never collect the favor tile. They would never collect the extra swans. They would never collect the bonus, the ongoing bonus. So what red has done is they've placed a boiler room here, and they have added that here to their utility room tracker, just like that. They will get a single purple swan, which gets them ahead here. And because this only has one doorway, it is now complete, and at the end of the game they will score 3 points for every favor tile that they have slotted in to their board over here. So that was a nice move for them. Let's flip these out. We've got a lot of basements, lots of basements. So the yellow player then is going to capitalize on that, I guess. They will take a stairs. And maybe it's capitalizing, and maybe it's just reacting to what's available and being forced to do it, one or the other. So they're going to place a stairs right here, and we're going to call that a yellow stairs. That does a few things. First, I don't know that it gets a swan. It may or may not get them a wild swan. I'll have to reference that, but it either does or it doesn't, so you know that much. It does complete this room, this little breakfast room here, and that earns them a favor tile. So they're going to draw 3, and we'll look at them together. So they can have the least reds, the least yellows, or the least grays. And looking at how red is already in the lead with reds, then yellow's thinking, you know what, I'll just take the least reds and I'll stop getting reds. And you can have all of them, and I will earn points for it. So that's yellow's idea. Yellow is going to slot in on the, I guess they're going to slot in here on the 1 swan discount right there. And that is, they slotted in right here. So they now have these 2 blocked off. Whereas red player has this one blocked off and this one activated. An additional thing that happens here is they have to, I should have done this in order. When you place a stairway, you also have to eliminate one of these rooms. These are essentially the same. I'll just get rid of the bottomless pit because that doesn't sound nice. And then these will slide forward. So we've covered now taking a hallway, taking a stairs, and obviously placing rooms and slotting these in. Now, the thing about stairs that I want to mention is when stairs are completed, they're going to score points for every downstairs room that is now connected to that stairway. They're going to score 3 points. So if this gets placed, yellow's scoring 3 points at the end of the game. If this gets placed, yellow's now scoring 6 points at the end of the game. So it behooves other players to, as quickly as possible, place another stairway to get out of the basement so that that player doesn't make a very long string of basement tiles. And so they effectively, the second player who places those stairs, they effectively equalize the point values there because they will now also be scoring points for those rooms. Anyway. So now we have each, oh, see, I forgot when I placed this to place a key over on my board here on this player. So this is a downstairs room. I mean, it's a stairway room, so they're going to place on the stairway spot. And this is the stairway, and this is a downstairs room. So they're similar. I mean, they're different. They're obviously different enough, but in concept, they look similar. So this one's a downstairs room. That one's a stairway. Now, we're back to red. So if red wanted to at this point, they could, with all of these swans that they have here, they could pay any 3 swans. They could pay all these red ones, which would humorously mess up the yellow player's plan to have the least reds, but that was secret information, so they wouldn't know to do this. And they could just straight up pay these swans to take one of these and get a new power. Alright, I didn't do that because I kind of like to get these as a bonus for doing other things as opposed to spending the swans to do it. But I just wanted to explain this a little. And they could also pay the 3 swans to take these 3 and do what yellow just did as a bonus. But as you saw, you get these as a bonus. So the red player got that as a bonus for completing the sleeping room, and the yellow player got the favor tile as a bonus for completing the food room. So instead, red will just continue on their merry way, and what they could do is they could take a stairs and just do that. They could go stairs down, right to stairs up to cut off yellow, but they're not going to do that. What they will do is jump in here, grab this cheese room, and they will decide to place it somewhere where they can actually earn something for it. So maybe they will get in here and maybe they'll start getting some blue swans, because remember, it helps to have sets of unique swans. So we're going to first place there. We're going to next place out here, because remember what their goal was to get that type of room. And they were able to take it because they have this 1 swan bonus. And we place this here. We tracked it on our board, and that's really it. Oh, we have to get this 1 blue swan for having the match of a gray and a blue. So now they're building up a nice little set here. They need to get some yellow in there. And this one is still not complete, so nothing happens there. These slide down. Yellow is going to follow through with their little plan of making some downstairs stuff and take this armory. Boom. That essentially will score them now 3 points. At the end of the game, we are tracking that on our blueprint board. This flips, so now we've achieved this bonus. It's definitely gonna score them 3 points for that. And if this gets them a swan, then they would take a swan, but that's something I'm not 100% certain of. I think because it doesn't show a swan on both sides, it's not a matching swan doorway, so that's why I didn't take them. Anyway, so we're moving this down this way, and now red's thinking, maybe I should. I don't see any more downstairs rooms coming. That one is coming, so if it goes here, then this player's going to get 6 points instead of 3. And they're going to get the secret swan bonus all to themselves. So maybe the red player decides now to be sort of a rat here and get those points. So now they are jumping in here. Unfortunately, they've completed this room for yellow, but I am going to track this here on my board because it does help you to get at least 1 of each type of room. It's going to score you 10 points at the end of the game. If you get at least 2 of each type of room, it'll score you 20. If you get at least 3 of each type of room, it'll score you 30. So it kind of helps to diversify your rooms, even if you are going for the most of a certain type of room. Plus, they sort of equalized this. This player, do they get this secret swan? Yes, because the room is completed, regardless of those being doors or not. So now they take the secret swan, any one secret swan, they look at it in secret. They got the one that they absolutely didn't want, a red. So that goes in their area black side up so that other players don't know exactly what sets they're building for the end of the game. So that's kind of cool, that little bit of hidden information. Red is placed here. They're going to eliminate this dark room and slide the rest of these down. Okay. Alright, so I just paused to take a little break and to check on that swan rule, the swan connection rule on stairs. And I confirmed that if I place here with yellow, which is what I'm doing, placing one of these living rooms, tracking it on my blueprint board like I'm supposed to, this is not a match. It's only when a swan matches a swan, not when a swan matches a door. This may count as a door, but it's not a swan, so that's nothing. So they've decided to block off this red one, not get the red swan, because they have that fewest red swans goal here, but leave themselves open to getting purples, which is a goal over there. And that moves this one down. Taking out the next tile, and we've got a dungeon, so another downstairs came out. Red is going to, well, red likes the idea of another one of these. Red's got a lot of red swans, so maybe they will stick this right here. They will get their little thing on here, and now, because this is the second of this type of room, they don't put another crown, they just slide this over. So we're tracking along. Okay. They are getting a red swan for that, because they've matched red to red. And this room is now completed. It flips over, despite these not... Oh, they do all match, but even if they didn't match, they would get this bonus. And now that every room has connected, they're getting the bonus there, which is 2 yellow swans. So they've got a lot of swans over here. And this room is also complete because it only has a single doorway. Red flips that, and now they're gaining a bonus of 3 points for every red swan they have at the end of the game. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crowns out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crowns tracked on their board. Like I said, that's something at least I always end up tracking throughout the game, recounting to make sure I didn't mess it up. Yellow. So yellow wants to get more of these rooms slotted in to their board, but it would help if they could take some sleeping rooms, which aren't really coming out for them. So what they're going to do is get in on this piano room. They're going to place this here, which gets them a key there. It lets them continue up on this track on their blueprint board. They will get the purple swan for that, for making that match. And this room is not yet completed, so we're fine. We slide these down again, and now we are sort of nearing the end of where I wanted to show you, because, well, you'll see. So now red goes. Red is deciding to maybe grab some more purples if possible. They don't really have that. Yeah, maybe they do. They can jump in here and take this one and build out a little bit further in this direction, so they're benefiting themselves. Maybe they'll continue over here just because it's a little bit more visible for you. I don't know, maybe, no, maybe not. Maybe it is more visible over here. Gotta look at the screen. Okay, they'll put that there, which moves this up right there, because they're tracking those food rooms. It does flip this over, and it gets them a purple swan for making the connection. And now they're gaining the benefit of choosing from most stairways, least greens, that would be interesting, or most swans in general. I think that's what that means, just have the most swans. So maybe they'll just take that one. And they won't worry about this move emote power. And we'll dump that over here. Now, they've completed their turn as we've been doing it so far. However, now we are showing down here at the very bottom of the screen, there's this plus moat symbol. And what that means is that before we finish our turn and slide these rooms along, you take exactly the number of moats that are showing on all of these depleted stacks, and you take one, and you just start expanding the moat. Just like that. So that's one. Now, if this were depleted, now you would place 2 tiles instead of 1. And then if this were depleted, you would now place 4 tiles instead of 2. And you can place them. Say that we were at a point where we were placing 4 tiles. You can either go to, you have to follow from where the moat exists and out. So I could put one there. Now I could put one here to slowly go around the corner if I didn't put this one here, and then place that one there. Or you can skip the corner, which is ugly, and go that way. Someone can later on, if they have to place moats and they don't feel like speeding the game up, they can come in and fill that in. So it kind of, I don't know, backfires. But what these also do is they can, if we were getting a little further, if they're placed like that, that blocks off this player's ability to ever finish a room. So you may want to hurry up and place moats out if you're nearing some of your opponent's edge-placed rooms, so you can block them off. Because then they don't complete the room, just like over here, where this actually doesn't belong, where red blocked off this room. Same can be done with these moat rooms. And so that's, I think I'm going to stop there. That kind of explains most of what the game is. At the end of the game, you will score points for all of your rooms that show 3 points per whatever. That's these utility rooms. 3 points per red swan, 3 points per favor that's placed. It could be anything like that. Any of these entertainment rooms just score you 7 points straight up. This game end power, if you've slotted something in here, that scores you 10 points. Any of your favors score if you have achieved being the winner of that. If you have the most swans, you'd get the 10. If you don't, you get nothing. Any of these favors that are out here are shared. They're competed for by everyone at the table, and whoever's done those gets those points. You can also earn points for, as I said, having a full row here of rooms, all the different rooms, you'll get 10. If you have 2 rooms of every type, 20, 3 rooms of every type, 30. If you've made it all the way to the end here, then you're going to get 10 points for doing that, and you'll track that by starting a new room over here, and then you'd come down and I think just stack this up. If that's unlikely to happen, but you can get 10 points for getting 5 of any given type of room. Along the way, you'll get a bonus right here. You'd get a swan bonus when you hit this 3rd room of any given type, so that's nice. And you'll hit it again if you get 8 before you get to 10. Then, of course, at the end of the game, you're going to look at your sets of swans like we have here. This is 5, and then 3, and then 1 and 1. So this would earn 10 points for 5. If they had a set of 4, it would earn 7. This set of 3 would be worth 4 points, and singles are worth 1. So we have 10, 14, 15, 16 here if the game were to end right there. And then this player would reveal that at the end to be able to make more sets. And, of course, those secret swans apply to favor tiles as well. And that is pretty much all of the scoring that happens at the end of the game. And the end of the game happens when we have put as many moats around the... Say this is all full with moats all the way. And then all of a sudden we get here and this closes off. And that will end the game as well. Now, if normally you wouldn't be able to just place there if you were coming from this side, but if you're coming around, it just happens to land there. If you're coming around this way, you'd have to go in here first and fill in these little inlets before coming back around. So if that were like that, and then this was coming around here, there was one there, and there's one there, then this player's like, well, game over. Because this is all full in this imaginary scenario, and they just closed it off there. So that would end the game. If you run out of all of these tiles, that also ends the game. And that's it. That's a look at the palace of Mad King Ludwig, and it's a pretty nifty little tile laying game. I kind of like it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Eddie Inzauto. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up and hit that bell icon to see all the new stuff as it comes out. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at GamerNode, Facebook.com/GamerNode. And of course, if you're not viewing this on YouTube, if you see it on the website, you can just go to our YouTube at youtube.com/GamerNode, or keep perusing the website at GamerNode.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, you guys have fun out there. If you're